over 40, over 50, postmenopausal, menopausal. Have you been gaining and losing the same 15 or 20 pounds a half a dozen times in your life? You've joined the clubs, you've joined the groups, you go to the meetings, you've got the app on your phone. Nothing seems to work, nothing sticks. What do you do? Well, what worked for me was intermittent fasting. I've mentioned it a few times on this channel, and several people have asked me to do a video about it. What exactly is it? How do you get started? What do you do? How do you do it? So I want to post a video tonight really quick, just kind of explaining how intermittent fasting works and how it worked for me and how it might work for you. Disclaimer before I get started, I'm not a medical doctor. I did do a lot of research on my own and I learned a lot, but please do not take anything that I say as medical advice. Talk to your doctor. I went to the doctor 2 years ago, this month, 2 years ago, and my blood pressure was really high. I did not want to grow old on statins. I do not want to take a statin drug that I have to take every day for the rest of my life. So I knew I had to get my blood pressure under control. Well, the reason it was out of control was because I had gained weight. Since my husband passed, I was basically just eating. If I was awake, I was eating. It was not good. So I knew I had to do something. I did a lot of research and I found intermittent fasting, which sounds so simple. 24-hour window, you do not eat for 16 hours, and during your 24 hours, you only eat 8 hours. That's it. So like from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's the only time that you eat, and for the rest of the day, you just don't eat. That just sounds so simple. I thought, well, heck, I can do that. And typically I'm pretty good. Once I make up my mind about something, I'm pretty good about sticking with it. But I thought, well, I'm going to give this a try. I watched a ton of videos. There is a pastor that I watched a lot. He would do a lot of 40-day fasting, spiritual fasting. And so he has a lot of videos about what happens to your body, first day fasting, third day, 8th day, 15th day, all the different physiological changes that occur inside your body as you progress through a fast. Of course, I had no interest in doing a 40-day fast, and the Lord has never put that on my heart. And anyway, we'll worry about that if the day ever comes. But so I watched him, Dr. Miles Monroe. I watched a lot of other people just to see what it was, how it affected you. I am a breakfast person. When I wake up in the morning, even when I was eating a lot and gaining a lot of weight, I work out almost every morning. So usually by 7 or 8 a.m., I am hungry. And my body is used to being fed. So mornings was my hardest time. I did not, when I first started, I did not weigh myself the first few days. I did not take my measurements. I didn't do anything. I just thought, I'm going to do this 16 hours off food, 8 hours on. The first few days, the first few weeks were brutal, terrible. My stomach would growl so loud, my head would hurt. I couldn't even concentrate on things, I thought. I realized, well, I learned from these videos, when your stomach is growling, it is just gastric juices releasing a signal to your brain saying, hey, lady, you've been feeding us at this time for the last 40 years. What's up? Bring us some food. We are used to that. Your body is such a brilliant creation, brilliant machine, and it gets used to stuff. My body was used to eating at 8 a.m. and it would cry for food, just screaming. So, but since I knew what it was just gastric juices sending a signal to my brain saying, we are used to eating at this time. That made it a lot easier for me to ignore it. So I went from I would stop eating at 6 p.m. at night, nothing. To be an actual fast, and a lot of people, they make adjustments to it, but I tried not to. Coffee, if it's black coffee, you can drink that. But if you put cream, sugar, anything that messes with your blood sugar levels, well, then you've broken the fast. So if possible, try to completely stop anything that is going to affect your blood sugar levels. So that means water, just water, from 6 p.m. to 10 o'clock the next morning. The first 2 weeks, so hard. Oh, it was awful. It was so hard. I'm not going to lie. When I would get home at night, because I wasn't eating the whole day, when I would get home from work in the evening, I was so hungry because I did not overeat all day. My evenings, oh, it was so rough. What I would do when I really, really, really wanted to eat, just grab a bite, just one little bite of something. I turned on different videos on YouTube, and I would watch like a little 15-minute walking video, just anything to get me motivated, to get me moving. And because hunger pains do go away, they don't last. So when you're really having a hunger pain, you really want to eat, you just find something else. And it does help. It helped me anyway. Because if I'm sitting here reading or working on a book or whatever, my stomach is reminding me, where is the food? So it really helped me in that first couple of weeks to do something physical that got my mind off of that. Plus it helped burn some calories. I would watch a video, just maybe 15 minutes during maybe watch a 30-minute TV episode, comedy episode of something. And I would try to be up doing just exercising or moving around during that time. I walked my poor little dog a lot just to get out of the house, away from the refrigerator. I just stayed busy. Within 2 weeks, I noticed such a big difference. Not a huge difference on the scales right away, but I felt it was so great. It was so fun. I felt so much better. I felt light on my feet. Just almost immediately, light on my feet. So after that, I did weigh myself. I took my measurements. And then over the next year, I was able to see, all the changes and everything. But I would just walk a lot of times in front of the TV, watching a video, just anything to get myself moving, something to distract me from hitting the refrigerator. And in my head, I knew you can't eat. Especially in the beginning when you're intermittent fasting, you watch the clock. I would be like, oh, when do I get to eat again? I would just watch that clock. It's like, okay, it is 9:45. You got to go 15 more minutes, Teresa. Then after, and doesn't take you very long to get used to it. Then 16 hours is not enough. I would go up to 17 hours, 18, 20, 22. And I would be driving in my car and I'm getting really hungry and I'm at work or I'm working and I'm starving. But I would think, okay, it is 1:45. If I can make it till 2 p.m., that means 20 hours. I've always kind of like competing with myself with that kind of thing. So I would just go 20 hours. Because once you get used to the 16, it's not really that hard to keep increasing it and making your non-eating window bigger and bigger, and your eating window from 8 hours to 6 to 5 to 4, sometimes 2. There's a lot of days I just eat one meal a day. And once you get used to it, it's really not that difficult. And for me, it was kind of fun competing with myself. I've always been that way. But the human body, it will get used to it. You just have to stick with it. But what I love about intermittent fasting is, well, for one, it's super, super flexible. I've had people say, but I eat dinner at night with my husband because we've both been gone all day. And sometimes he doesn't get home till 8 o'clock. And sometimes we can't eat till this hour. Or sometimes I have to be at work early the next morning. And, your schedule changes. Whose doesn't? We all do that kind of thing. So with intermittent fasting, it doesn't matter. If you are knowing that you're going to have a late dinner that night, then just don't start eating as early. Just wait. And that way your eating hours will be, a little bit later of a dinner. If you're going to a wedding or a reception or a party or whatever, a fundraiser, and you're going to be eating later at night, just don't eat earlier in the day. You can make your 6 hours, your 8-hour eating window, whatever time you want. Also, you're not married to it. If there's a day now and then the girls call and they want to go to breakfast, I'm not saying no, don't go. Don't go to breakfast. Of course, go to breakfast. But if you know that your friends are going to call you and you're going to go to brunch the next morning and you're going to meet her at 10, then try to stop eating maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, so that by the time that brunch comes around, you are ready to break your fast. There were so many times in the evening I'd be hungry and I'd want to eat, but I would think, Teresa, the later you eat, the longer you're going to have to wait the next day before you can feed yourself, before your feeding window. So, I don't know how many nights, well, pretty much every night, I went to bed hungry. And there were times I'm laying there in the bed and my belly's growling, wanting food. But you just ignore it. You're the boss. You're in charge, not your stomach. So I just love it. There's so much flexibility. And the other thing is, it's free. You do not have to join anything. You don't have to pay dues. You don't have to weigh yourself and have other people know what the scales say. None of that. It's just you competing against you. I prayed a lot. I did pray, Lord, help me. Because like I said, I love food. People ask me, what do I eat? A lot of people are very, very good and dedicated about what they eat. I'm not. Again, this is just what worked for me. Might not work for you. You need to, your body. You need to think about your own body, your own needs, your goals, your health, and talk to your doctor. But for me, I knew that I could use the flexibility. I could make the choices. And the food, I basically, again, maybe not a good idea, but I basically eat whatever I want. During my eating window, if I'm meeting some friends at a restaurant, when I go to a restaurant, I order absolutely whatever I want, whatever looks good. Because I have done so well the whole day, the whole week. If I want to eat out at a restaurant and we know that food, I don't know how many times worse eating the food at a restaurant than eating the food at home. They just add extra butter and fat, and that's why it's so good. And it looks so pretty when they put it on your plate because they got all this fattening, greasy, delicious, yummy stuff on it. So if you know you're going to eat there, you know you're going to go out with your friends, just make adjustments through the week. And so that if you eat a little higher calorie at the restaurant. But for me, literally at home, at work, at a restaurant, I eat whatever I want. I have still lost weight. It took me, it didn't, the weight for me did not fall off. It's like, wow, I've lost 20 pounds in a month. No. It took a while. It came off slowly, but I noticed the difference in the way my clothes fit within a month. I could tell a huge difference in my clothes. And within 2 weeks, I could tell a huge difference in how I was feeling and how I was getting used to it. And the whole idea of a small eating window, intimidating at first, so intimidating, but it did not stay that way. I just love intermittent fasting. And it's a lifestyle now for me. It's not a diet. at all. I hate diets. When I was a kid, my mother was always on a diet. Literally, she had a little teeny tiny set of scales, and she would weigh her baked potato, her pat of butter, her milk. Well, maybe not milk, but anything. She would weigh a piece of fish, a piece of chicken. She would weigh it. She would measure this out. And I remember as a kid thinking, how horrible. Because to me, that is the slavery. When you are weighing and measuring every little bite that goes into your mouth, that is slavery. You are a slave to those scales, to that little measuring cup. You're a slave to that. I hated that, and I built up such a resistance to the whole concept of that. So I never wanted to do that. And for most of my life, I never have. But the intermittent fasting, it just works for me. The way that I do it, again, you might choose to do it differently. And I do know a lot of people, they only drink skim milk while they're fasting. They break their fast in certain ways by eating certain types of food, limiting sugars or whatever, fats, measuring proteins, whatever. They do a lot more things than what I do. But I don't need to do that. With my health, I know my body. I don't have any health conditions. You have health conditions. If you have to take medication at certain times of day, of course, that's a big consideration. I don't have to take anything. So I have the liberty of eating however I want because I don't have to worry about medication and high blood pressure, sugar, nothing like that. So I do have a lot of flexibility with the way that I do it. So talk to your doctor, do a lot of research, look into it, but just put it in your mind, I am only going to eat whatever eating window you decide that works for you, works for your schedule, works for your family. Get that in your head. This is what I do now. This is how I eat. This is how I live. This is not a diet. It's my lifestyle change. This is what I'm doing from now on. And I just love it. I love that I feel so light on my feet, even if I'm not. I feel so athletic. And the best thing, every stitch of clothes in my closet fits me, except a lot of the stuff is too big. I had to get rid of a lot of clothes. I've had to, sorry, I'm trying to get some stuff done for work. But that first summer, I started in February. In the summertime that year, I had to buy myself new capris, new tops. Even my tops, they were like hanging on me. They looked terrible. It was great. I loved it. I did have to buy new clothes. So be careful. You might have to go buy some new clothes. If you don't have, a lot of us women, we have different stages in our closet. I hate to say this, but most of us, we have like our fat clothes. The clothes that we wear, at Christmas or whatever, when we've put on a few pounds or, so we've got stages of clothes. You are going to find that you're going to have to go down in a stage of clothes. I have gotten rid of most of my bigger clothes, but I've had to buy a lot of smaller clothes because all my old stuff, even the tops, usually tops, they give you a lot of grace and you can still wear them. Oh, they look terrible. I had to buy a lot of new clothes. So warning, you might have to buy new clothes. But it's fun, it's easy, it's free. You'll feel great. Almost, like I said, it took me 2 weeks and I felt amazing, even though the scales had only changed maybe minuscule and my clothes were still not falling off of me, but I just felt great. I love it now. I feel so light and energetic and excited. It's a great mood booster. Just try it after you take into consideration all your own personal health needs. Give it a try. Enjoy it. It's not hard. You just change it to your schedule, to your lifestyle, and let me know how it works for you. If you've ever tried intermittent fasting or IF, Post down below, let me know, and let me know what kind of success you had with it, and if you're still doing it. And if you are still doing it, how long has it been? 2 years for me, 2 years this month. I'm excited, and I have no intention of ever going back. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, post them below, and you can find tons of information out on YouTube. Just do a search. Have a great evening, and let me know how it is working for you.